My name is Ian and welcome to Planted. In this video I'm going to demystify late summer flower production. Here we are in late August. We've come through the heat of the summer and it's quite likely that many of your flowers are looking a little bit tired. And I want to explain to you what you can do to fix that and probably more importantly why it happens. So let's get to it. Now what I have here is two planted pots of petunias. This is a very, very common plant, and this will serve as a really good example of what's happening to many of your annual and perennial plants. These were probably planted in May, put out in display mid to late May, and from when they were planted and put out right the way through until the end of June, they have optimum growing conditions. They've got increasing day length. Remember that we get the shorter day length starts late June. They've got a lot of attentive care and attention. They're being watered properly, and they've got fertilizer. So everything about this arrangement is set up for the plant to thrive. And most important, because they've got small roots, that pot is not going to dry out. Once we get past to the other side of June and getting into July and August, things change. Once we go through the end of June, we start to get a decreasing day length. And this is a sign for the plant that the season's changing and the plant needs to start putting out seeds, which is exactly what it does. We also get the really high temperatures in July and August. And those high temperatures put a really high increase on water availability. So there's a good chance that these pots at some point have had a period of excessive drying conditions, further promoting the need for the plant to put out seeds. And lastly, there's a really good chance that the nutrient status has also dropped. Short day length, lack of water, and a low nutrient status, those are the things that promote the plant to stop putting out flowers and start to put out seeds. So what can you do? Well, in late July, which really is the height of the season, this is when you need to really get out there and be ruthless. You need to do a 25% chop, and it could be a little bit more in some cases, maybe even a 33% chop. And what you're doing is removing all the instances of seed production. So the plant has no longer got any seeds that are in production. And with that, the plant thinks, oh, all right, I guess I'm not going to put out any energy into seed production. I'm going to put out some more shoots. So by removing the seeds, you initiate and generate new shoots. There's a few other things that happen. By reducing the canopy on the head of the plant, you've now made the roots essentially bigger, whereas they were having to support all that growth beforehand. By reducing the canopy, those roots are much more efficient. So there isn't such a draw and a demand on those plants to keep the above growth healthy and vibrant. With all that growth cut off, sunlight can now get deeper into the plant and further initiate new growth. Now the reason you need to do this in late July is that we've got plenty of heat and sunlight in August and September, and maybe even going into early October, for your plants to start putting out more growth. So here you can see me absolutely chopping these plants down, removing all that growth. And you might think it's a bit of a sacrilege because, well, they kind of look nice. But they will start to decline, and they will continue to decline every week that they're on that plant. By pruning back in late July, the plant's got time to put out new flowers and give you a second bout of color and interest. So have some discipline. Try this on a few plants first. Don't go out there and cut your entire garden back. This practice is most successful with annual plants and perennial plants. There are a few woody plants that can benefit from this, but don't start there. Don't start cutting back your woody plants expecting a second flush. The perennials and the annuals have got the ability to put out a lot of growth quite quickly. Let's take a closer look at this pruning practice. You can see that the border is very tall, very colourful, and is in full swing. And it logically makes no sense whatsoever to remove all those flowers when they look so beautiful. But this is where a little bit of insight and experience come in, because the continued blooming cycle will slow down quite quickly, and you end up with these very long, rangy plants with lots of seed pods on. And by the time you get to late August, there's nothing else yet going to come that you haven't already experienced. So biting the bullet and pruning in late July really is a tough job emotionally, because you're removing all of this growth. But this whole border took me about 30 minutes to prune. It wasn't a long job. I've got a tarp on the road, and I can take my clippings and put them on that tarp, and then get rid of it, take it off to the dump. Very, very easy. Now, we want to elevate the nutrient status. We don't want to go crazy, but a little overhead granular irrigation, granular fertilizer application, very, very useful and very easy to do. 2 pots, and you put your fertilizer in between the 2 pots and just shake. And then you've got to add some water. Now, this does a number of things. This will help wash off any of the granular fertilizer that's stuck on the plant. It'll help wash the fertilizer into the soil, and it also gives the plants an immediate dose of water to really start and promote that new growth that we're after. This is not a difficult job and is working very, very well for a perennial or annual border. When you water, you need to water each plant 3 times. So do an area, go forward, come back, do that first area again. And now, with the border properly rehydrated, you can come along, and because you removed all of the crown of the heavy growth, you can better see where you've got weeds. Now, many of you may know that this border was grass prior to me turning it earlier this year, so it comes as no surprise that I've got some grass seedlings that are in there trying to establish themselves. Because it's moist, they are removed easily. And here's the growth that you can expect. Now, you have to remember, before you can have flowers, you have to have flower buds. Before you have flower buds, you have to have shoots. And that's what this practice is all about, initiating new growth that can have the ability to provide new flowers.